It was a warm summer evening in 1976, and the coastal city of Nice, France, was alive with the sounds of the Mediterranean breeze and the distant hum of city traffic. But in the shadows, a man named Albert Spaggiari was scheming, his mind sharp, his intentions even sharper. Albert wasn't your typical criminal. He was a man of class, well-dressed, and known for his charm. Yet beneath this sophisticated exterior lay the mind of a criminal mastermind, a man who believed he was destined for something greater than the mundane life he had been leading. His frustration with the routine of life, the system, and the dullness of his day-to-day existence led him to one conclusion. He would pull off a heist like no one had ever seen before. He wasn't interested in petty theft. He wanted to execute the heist of the century. The discovery one fateful day, while walking along the Promenade des Anglais, Albert passed by a bank, Société Générale, and a thought crossed his mind. What if I could get my hands on all that money? The vault beneath their feet, untouched, brimming with millions. This wasn't just a passing thought. It was the beginning of a meticulous plan. He began his research, learning every detail about the bank, its employees, and, most importantly, the vault. The vault was no ordinary safe. It was buried deep underground, shielded by the latest security measures. But Albert wasn't deterred. He saw this as an opportunity to show the world that no system was invincible. Assembling the crew, Albert was no stranger to crime, but this was different. He needed a team, specialists who could help him execute the impossible. He recruited a locksmith who could bypass the complex security, a demolition expert who knew how to deal with underground structures, and a former miner who was skilled at digging tunnels without alerting anyone. The plan was simple. They would dig a tunnel from the city's sewer system directly into the bank's vault. Over the course of 2 months, they would work in secrecy, digging during the late-night hours when the city was asleep. They had one goal in mind: get in, get out, and disappear into the shadows. The heist begins. The night of the heist arrived. Albert stood at the entrance of the sewer tunnel, his heart racing with excitement. His crew was ready. The tunnel was almost complete, and the bank was oblivious to what was about to unfold beneath its floors. With each swing of the pickaxe and turn of the drill, they made progress. As the hours passed, Albert couldn't help but marvel at how smooth the operation was going. There were no alarms, no unexpected obstacles, just a group of men working together toward a common goal. By dawn, they had reached the vault. The crew worked quickly to breach the last few meters, finally breaking through the wall. What they found on the other side was nothing short of magnificent. Millions of francs, gold bars, rare jewels, and stacks of unmarked cash. Albert couldn't help but smile. No guns, no violence, no hate, he thought to himself. This wasn't about causing harm, it was about outsmarting the system. He had no need for bloodshed or terror, just brains and careful execution. The Great Escape. As the crew filled their bags with treasure, a realization hit Albert. This was it. They had done the impossible. But as they made their way back through the tunnel, the enormity of the crime began to settle in. Albert knew the authorities would be on their tail, but he was always one step ahead. They had planned for this moment, leaving the tunnel covered and untraceable, with no physical evidence of their entry into the vault. They took only what they could carry, leaving no trace of their presence. By Monday morning, the heist was discovered. The bank employees arrived to find the vault empty, the security systems compromised, and no sign of forced entry. How could it have happened? The authorities were baffled, but Albert wasn't worried. The world wouldn't know what hit them: the chase and the escape. Soon after the heist, Albert's identity became known to the police. A man like him couldn't just disappear. He had a reputation. His arrogance, however, was his downfall. He didn't bother hiding. He wanted to be seen as the genius behind the crime, a mastermind who outsmarted the system. But the authorities were closing in. Albert was arrested, but during his trial, his escape was nothing short of cinematic. He had one final trick up his sleeve, a daring leap from the courthouse window, disappearing into the streets of Nice. The police were left dumbfounded, and Albert's escape only added to his mystique. The legacy of Albert Spaggiari. Albert Spaggiari lived the rest of his life in hiding, moving from place to place, a legend in the criminal world. He was never caught again, and his name became synonymous with brilliance and audacity. The perfect crime, executed with precision, planning,